Hello out there. Thank you for tuning in to my channel where we simplify the practice of quantity surveying. Uh, Welcome to another episode where we shall be building up unit rates for a 75 dry wall partition. Before I forge ahead, I want to ask, have you subscribed to my channel? Haven't followed me for some time? Or are you a first timer to my page? If yes and no, please hit the subscription button right away underneath your screen. Uh, this is the only way we can get a feedback that we are being appreciated for the little contribution we are making towards the practice of the practice of quantity surveying, and also uh, it serves as an encouragement for us to continue to do our best to help the younger ones that are coming out of school and those that are practicing understanding to understand the basics of the basics in quantity surveying practice. Having said that, uh, like I did said, we are going to be building up uh, a unit rate for drywall partition. We know the unit of measurement for drywalls is in square meter. So our unit rates, of course, will be built in square meter. And drywall basically is used for demarcating office spaces, also used for soundproof. The demarcations walls can as well serve as soundproof when it is infilled with fiberglass rock walls. And sometimes if it is a soundproof wall, the bill will specify the kind of gypsum board you're going to use. There are perforated acoustic gypsum board in the market that will be applied. And the gypsum board comes in different, excuse it comes in different thickness. We have it ranges from 10 mm, 12.5 mm, 15 mm, be up to 20 mm thick. So depending on what you intend to use it for, or the crafter of the bill intend the wall to achieve, that is what how the description will be written. And the materials used for this drywall are galvanized U channel. The thickness is it comes in 1.5 mm thick galvanized plate that is used to bend the U. Some comes in 1 mm, depending on the thickness. There are some for 2 mm thick. So and another thing you needed to know is the thickness of the wall determines the kind of U channel you needed to buy. If it is, say, a 90 mm thick wall, so you have to get a say a say 85 mm thick 85 mm thick or 85 mm thick profile as the base profile. Or if it is coming for, if it's a 85 mm thick wall, you needed, say, a 65 mm thick profile. But in this case now, we are uh, building up the rate for a 75 thick drywall profile. And I want to help her understand how the calculation, uh, how we arrived at the 75 with the two profiles you're seeing here. The profile, the base profile, which is the one that serves as a stabilizer that you're going to screw on the floor, and the one you're going to screw if the wall is running all through to the next floor, it's running through to be anchored on at the bottom of the next floor. Say the headroom is a 3 meter, so meaning that you're going to have one profile at the top and one at the bottom. And the one at the top and the one at the bottom will be the base profile, which is a 50 thick. So if it is a 50 thick profile, plus you have the board as 12.5 thick. So if it is 12.5 thick board and you're going to put the board on both sides, you're cladding it on both sides with 12.5. So 12.5 plus 12.5 gives you 20, 25. So 25 plus 50 makes out the 75 you're seeing here. So also if you are building for say a wall thicker than 75, you go to the market, you get what is the description. If the board says 10 mm, 10 mm, 10 mm, 200, that is 20. Then if it is an 80 thick wall, so you are now looking for a 78 profile. Then by the time you put the 10 board here, 10 board here gives you 80 drywall. So also if it is larger or bigger than the 80 that is how you compute that. Then the 48 steel U profile, the steel U profile. These are the vertical profiles that will be running at interval of 600 depending on what the bill stipulate. If the bill says at 500 centers, say maybe the gypsum board you are buying buying from the market is a 1 meter. So the specification could be at 500 centers, because if you are placing the profile at 500 center for a 1.5 wide board, then which means you are going to be putting additional profile to take the edges of the two board. So you are going to be losing one profile, which does not make any logical sense. You can imagine if you have, say, a 1 meter board which is running this way. So you have put if it is at 500 by 500, and this span is 1.2. So you place one profile at the end, you put one at 500, you put one at 500. So the board will be extending beyond the next 500 by 20. So you will need to put another profile at the edge to hold that side. So if you are using what I'm trying to drive across is, if you are using a 1.2 board, it is ideal that the profile will be spaced at 600 centers. If you are using a 1 meter board, it is certain that you're going to place the profile at 50 centers. Whichever boards you find within your region, that is what will determine how you're placing your vertical profile. So you have the profile, the bottom profile is this. You have another one, this. Then this is the concrete floor at the bottom. This is the floor. Then this is your slab. So you are going to screw this to the floor. You are going to screw this to the floor, to the upper slab. Then the 48 this 48 profile, U profile, is now going to it's going to run this way. is going to run this way. So then the board will now come against it this way. The board will now come against it, since you are cladding both sides, to now come against it this way. And you are now screwing the board against the vertical profile and the top bar. So this is just a section of, this is a section I cut this way. So this is what you are seeing. So now, having given us the section, how it looks like, this is the board, this is the vertical profile, this is the base profile, the top and the bottom profile. And now we go to, I want to now give us an illustration how I got the material for 1 square meter, how I got every material for 1 square meter before we now go to the table. We are going to be using a 1.2 width wide board, and the length is 3 meter height. So if we're using 1.2 board, meaning that we are placing our profile at centers of 600, meaning that we are now taking this area. This is the area we are going to clad with a 600 board. This profile is going to be at the middle, at the center of the board, while this one at the edge, to receive this other board, while this one is going to receive, let's say, this other board. So now this profile is going to be shared between these two boards, while this other profile will be shared between these two boards. So if this profile will be shared between these two boards, and this will be shared, which means this area we are using as a reference of what we want to compute, will take half of this profile and half of this profile. So if you add the half of this and half of this, it becomes 1. So 1 plus this other one makes up 2. Then let's say we have a 3 meter long profile on the floor and 1 at the top, and our area of focus is this way. So we have a 1.2 long of this bottom and top profile. So if we have that, now let's do the profile. Let's do the profile for, then we'll come for the screw. Now the length of the profile, why the number? So the length of the profile is 3 meter, which is the length, like this is 3 meter. Why the number I needed for this area that I just said that is sharing half this way, plus this makes 2, gives me 2 number. So I multiply 3 meter by 2, gives me, I need a total of 6 meters to work on this 1.2 by 3 meter board. Then this one, the length is 1.2. So the length is 1.2, then I need 2, 1, 2. So it gives me 2.4. And now I am computing this area to know how many square meter that I'm going to use this 6 meters profile to do. So now I now computed it here. The board is 3 meter by 1.2. So I got a 3.6 square meter. Excuse me, 3.6 square meters. So if I divide the length of the 50 mm profile, no, 48 mm profile, then the 50 mm profile, the 15 mm profile, if I divide it by 3.6, which is the area that I use the profile to achieve, so I'm going to get a 1.76 per square meter. While this other one, I'm going to get a 0.67. That is the top and the bottom profile. I'm going to get a 0.67 per square meter, because I use this total linear meter to achieve this area. Then as for the black screw, I am going to screw the whole of this area. I'm going to screw at 30 centers. And I'm going to screw at this side 30 centers. I'm going to screw at this side 30 centers. So, and if you divide 3 meter by 3 meter by 0.3, you're going to have 10 numbers. So 10 number multiplied by 3 location, which is this area, this area, this area. That gives me 30 number. Then why the top profile, which is the Fisher screw, I have which was the one I illustrated that I'm going to screw into the concrete. I'm going to screw into the concrete. I'm going to have 4 pieces. If I at 30 centers, I'm going to have 4 pieces. And I'm going to put on two. I'm going to put at 2 locations, this side and this other side. So if you multiply, you have 8 numbers. So haven't gotten all of this illustration, I'm going to have 8 numbers and 30 number. Then if you now divide it by the total coverage area, you're going to have 8.33 per square meter, y 2.22 per square meter. So I'm going to take these parameters to my table. So let us note this parameter. So as soon as we are seeing those numbers on my table, you know where it is coming from. Then, of course, these are my prices. The 50 profile, which is the top profile, you have is 2,500. Why the 48 is a 2,200. The gypsum is 16,000 per board of 3 meter by 3 meter. Why the fiberglass is a 57,000 for a roll of 20 meters by 1 meter. While the black screw is a 1,000 in a pack and is a 5,000. Then the Fisher is the Fisher screw is 100 for 1,500. While the tip, the joint tip. Okay, let me now explain the joint tip. You know, between this board and this board, there's going to be a joint here. And if the joint is not treated, you're going to have cracks after painting. So the joint tip is it's like nets. It's like a mesh, a plastic mesh. It's like a plastic mesh. You are going to put it on it has some adhesive on it. You stick it on the joint between the two board. Then you now screed on it. So now it prevents any future cracks along that joint. So you're going to have one here, one here. You're not going to put at the middle. So these are 4,000, 4,500 for a roll of 50. While the molder, if you are asked to screed the wall, but if you are treating the screeding and painting separately, fine. But if the description says after you should prepare the wall up to screeding, then which means your rate has to capture screeding. And a bag of molder 3 of 50 kg is 12,000, and a bucket of King's paint for mixing of the molder is 6,500. So now we come to our table. We can remember where we got this, the linear meter of the profile, the 50. We remember how we got the linear meter of the profile for the vertical profiles, 1.7. Then the rates, of course, you divide the unit cost per one length of 3 meter by 3 meter, you get the cost per meter. Of course, you do the same thing for the 48, divide by 3, you have 3 meter. Then the board, it's a 16,000 for a 3 meter by 1.2. So you divide it by 3 by 1.2 to get the cost for 1 square meter. And because it is a double cladded, it's cladded on both sides. It's cladded on both sides. So you're going to have 2 square meter both sides. So and the cost is 4,400 per 1 square meter. Then the rock wool, which is the fiberglass, is a 57,000 per roll of 50 meters. So you divide by 20 meters, by roll of 20 meters, you divide it, you have 2,800 per square meter. Then the screw, we completed the numbers of the screw, 8.33 and 2.22. For the black screw, because I am screwing this face and the other face, so I'm going to multiply it by 2. But for the top and bottom screw, I'm only screwing to hold it in place on the wall, on the slab, and the both slab, both the one up and down. So I don't need to multiply by two. So I multiply the black screw by two. That I have 16.67 pieces. And when I divided the price of a pack of 1,000 by 5,000, I have cost per one as 5,000, as a 5 naira per piece. Then of course the mesh tape, the mesh joint tape, uh, uh, you have 2 meter and you divide the cost 4,005 by 50 meter, you have 90 naira per meter. You have two, you needed two because this is going to occupy, you're putting it against this two board, you're putting it against this board. So it's taking half here, making one. Then the other side to half, making 2 meters. So you have 2 meters, you have 2 meters, then 2 meters multiplied by 90 gives you a 185. Then the polyfiller, which is the molder for screeding, for for a smooth wall like this that you're using drywall, the surface is always very smooth. So you the waste or the ones that the wall is straight and smooth, so you don't need to waste more materials to bring it to the smooth surface. So the coverage for this kind of wall is more compared to when you are screeding on plastering, cement sand rendering. So in this case, the coverage is a 130 square meter as against 100 for the normal wall. Then the king spade, of course, 2 drums to mix one bag of molder. That is why you're seeing I divided a bucket by 60, is supposed 65. Then I divided the cost of the molder 3 by 130 square meter because a bag will cover 130 square meter in this case. So, and it is on both sides you are going to screed. That's why you have 2 square meter here. Then on both sides you are going to screed as well. You have you have this, you have 210, 493. So if you sum the cost for material, you'll be arriving at 14,778. Then the labor differs from one region to another. What the price that is obtainable in Kaduna might be different from what is obtainable in Abuja and Lagos. And depending on the availability of the workmen that understand how to do dry work. So if they are less in numbers, the competitions will be high and their prices will be high. But where you have experts that does this more, so the competition will be there and the prices will come down. So uh, in this case, I am using a 3,500 per square meter. Multiply, by the time you add the two prices, you are coming to 18,278.50 8 naira 52 kobo per square meter for double cladded walls. But if it is say one-sided cladded, say you're putting the drywall against an existing block wall, meaning that you're only going to clad one side. So the only thing that will now be different on this in this rate is the gypsum board will be now 1 square meter because it's on one face. Then the fiber will remain. The screw for the base profiles will remain. Why the one for the black screw will now become 2, will become 1. Then the joint table will now become 1. Why the painting will be 1 square meter, the 1 square meter as well. So you have a cost of 13,275 for a one-sided cladded drywall that you're putting against existing block wall. Why you have 18,000 for You have 18,278 for a double cladded drywall. Like I did said, uh, the description in the bill is what will determine uh, the prices of all the items you have here. Say if it is a 800 thick drywall, the rock wool will be 800 thick, and the price will not be the same. And the profiles too will be wider, and the prices will not be the same. The screw will remain, the screws will remain, the joint tip will remain, the painting materials will remain. So that, and then if the gypsum board, if it is a 10 mm, the price will not be the same. If it is an acoustic perforated gypsum board, the prices are not going to. We have green. There are green gypsum board. Those ones, the prices are higher than the ash uh, paper cladded gypsum board. So first is for you to read your description in the bill, understand what you are asked to do. Then you now sieve out the materials that you think you need to build up those streets, then get their prices. Then you now come and start building your prices in this manner. So I hope I have been able to guide us through on how to build rate for a drywall. If yes, please like my page, uh, leave a comment if you are impressed by my explanation. Above all, subscribe, share to your colleagues, and even to other sisters profession in the build industry. See you next in my next episode.